Coming up on Network Africa, U.S. President Donald Trump asks his Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, to study the issue of killing of farmers in South Africa. Let's get more on this story from an international affairs analyst, Calvin Dark. It's always a pleasure to have you on the program.
Thank you.
What do you make of President Trump's tweet that the U.S. Secretary of State should study the issue of killings of white farmers in South Africa?
Well, one thing's for sure, you can always tell what President Trump is really passionate about by what he tweets. I thought it was really unfortunate when he tweeted it because we all know he doesn't speak out passionately about Africa except for the derogatory comments he made earlier this year. Yet he chose this time to speak out passionately, not consulting his own State Department about the supposed killing of white farmers after he saw them live tweeting cable news show. Keep in mind, he's the President of the United States, yet he has time to live tweet cable news on a regular basis.
So do you think he's doing this to take attention away from his own political issues happening in his country?
I think on some level, that's most of what he does and tweets to try to deflect attention. But I think what's really important here is the show that he was referring to, that he mentioned in the tweet, Tucker Carlson. They have a very clear agenda that they believe that white men, white people are victims of racism and are under assault in the United States. They even mentioned this in the segment they did on the issues in South Africa. So this fits right along with that propaganda that racism is actually affecting white people as well. President Trump knows that when he tweeted about that and when he referenced Tucker Carlson, he really scored points with members of his base who really buy that.
So South Africa has quite a lot of issues that it's battling with at the moment. There's the issue of domestic abuse, widespread killing of women and children, and even xenophobia. Why is the president more focused on the issue of land expropriation that hasn't even started?
Well, one, I think it shows, unfortunately, that he is not in contact or regular substantive contact with the State Department. But it also shows that, the United States elected a reality show president. He is moved by what he sees on TV. He saw something that could score points, and he tweeted about it. And that isn't good for U.S. foreign policy because who knows what he might see or might read or somebody might tell him, and all of a sudden he puts out a statement that reflects U.S. foreign policy.
So Mr. Trump's tweet comes days after it was announced that the U.S. First Lady, Melania Trump, will travel to Africa in October for her first major solo international trip as First Lady. What impact, if any, is this likely to have on the First Lady's visit?
It won't have a real impact on the planning and the execution of the visit. I think if South Africa was one of the proposed countries, that might be under reconsideration. But I think it underscores the main point about all of this with the First Lady's trip. President Trump undermines his own administration, his State Department, the people that are supposed to be carrying out what he wants through his tweets and what he says. So this is just a reminder that before her trip and probably during it, President Trump may say, tweet, or do something that undermines whatever she may do. It may overshadow the good things that she could accomplish. So in that sense, it will affect it, and it's probably making people rethink the value of the trip.
Thank you so much, Calvin Dark, International Affairs Analyst, for your thoughts on that.
Thank you.